I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of terror, tragedy, and triumph on Rescue 911. We begin in 1912, as a legendary performer was about to begin his act high above the streets of Philadelphia.
Mike Rosso's idol was Harry Houdini, probably the greatest escape artist in the world. And Mike just wanted to kind of be Harry Houdini. We were the Punchline, a stand-up comedy club. What we're trying to accomplish is to let people know that we had swapped over the club to a different format.
Yeah, got great weather for it, though.
Manager Mark Hudgens wanted an attention-getting way to let people know the club would now be presenting magic as well.
At that point, we were approached by Mike Rosso, who said that he would like to do a stunt out front in the same lines as Harry Houdini.
Magician Howard Flint had known and performed with Mike for several years.
We came here on the opening week, and Michael said, yes, come in and do the close-up magic, Howard, and I'm going to be doing the straitjacket escape upside down from a burning rope. During the performance, my job was to count down the remaining time that Michael had to get out of the straitjacket before the rope burned through. About a half an hour before the actual performance, Michael would go out, take a piece of rope, light that, and hang and pull and twist every way he could to pull on it, find out what the burn time was. Generally about 4 minutes, as I recall. He had timed getting out of the straitjacket, since he had done it many times, to the point that he figured he could do that in about 1.5 to 2 minutes. That's why he was convinced that everything was fine.
September 22nd, 1989, was Mike's fourth performance of the escape that week.
We told all the people that they could exit the room, go out and watch this death-defying stunt that Mike Rosso was going to perform, and then they could come back in and watch the show.
How you doing? Yeah! All right.
Michael, at this point, said, hi, I'm Mike Rosso. I'm here to entertain you. I need 2 volunteers to help tie me into this straitjacket.
Okay, what is your name? Jay. Jay, and your name? Jamie.
He always used volunteers. These were not stooges that put him in a special straitjacket. Each individual hand buckled him into it. He was trussed up very, very tightly. That's the way he wanted it. That way there's no collusion on anyone's part. He's really taking a chance. As soon as Michael was strapped into the jacket, the fluid was applied to the burn rope and the lighter was put to it. At that point it burned as it had been before, just a circle of flame.
Guide my head. As soon as my head is clear of the cement, then you guys can let go.
Okay. When it got to about 30 or 40 feet high above the ground, the winds aloft were a lot higher than they were in the ground. And what was normally a small burn now turned into a flag of fire. It was burning faster than we'd ever seen it. I was entranced. I wasn't paying attention to the audience. I was looking at Michael. I didn't give the count at that point. I still don't know why. I just started walking forward underneath him. And when the flames were really roaring, I started to turn to the crane operator to say, bring him down.
A bystander ran to the club office to get help.
I knew we needed 911 more than I needed to go out there.
Call 911. The rope broke on Mike out there. You better get out there quick.
We have emergency 911.
When we continue,
I didn't know what was going on with Michael, if he would make it or not. I was afraid he wouldn't. My thoughts were that this boy is gone.
when the rope snapped, sending him plunging headfirst 40 feet to the pavement below.
Mike, you all right?
I'd heard a rather sickening thump, and when I had gotten up and looked at him, his eyes were closed, and he started to moan and gag a little bit. It was a death rattle sound. I'd heard it before. I worked on ambulance before, years ago when I was in school, and it scared me.
Paramedic Jeff Harcum was already in the field.
The call was dispatched as a person down injured in a fall, and it gave the address of the North Lake Punch Line. It's kind of a coincidence we were passing the intersection where the actual scene of this accident took place when the call was dispatched by the communications center.
Say something, Mike.
I knew it was bad. I didn't know how bad. I was hoping Michael had just been stunned, unconscious, because he did knock me down. And I thought, all right, this is my buddy. Let's have him get up. Come on, Michael. Talk to me. Mike, you're going to be okay. Get up. There was no reaction except this gurgling death rattle sound.
From the time I notified my communications operator that my unit was going to handle the call to the time that we arrived on the scene was less than a minute. We had a minute response time. I noticed that the patient was lying on his left side, was bleeding moderately from his head, was unconscious, exhibiting a decorticate posturing, as if he were in a fetal type position, which is indicative of a severe head injury in that type of patient.
Give us a little bit of room, folks. Come on.
Just seeing him at that point put in my mind, with all my training and experience that I've gained, that this patient did not have a good chance of surviving this incident.
Let's go. Folks, get out of our way. Come on.
If he had hit the parking lot head first, I don't think he would have survived. I think he would have died instantly. I think the assistant, the way he deflected him or tried to catch him, lessened his injuries.
Okay, Mike, you're doing all right now.
By breaking Mike's fall, Howard may have saved his life.
I didn't know what was going on with Michael, if he would make it or not. I was afraid he wouldn't. My thoughts were that this boy is gone.
Mike was transported to the nearest trauma center, where neurosurgeon Stephen Jacobs was on call.
The patient on my initial examination was not brain dead, but he was as close to being brain dead as one could possibly be.
Scotty, let's give him another 250 cc's of mannitol when he gets inside.
And at the time, I did not think he was going to survive.
Michael's sister remembers that night.
Being that I was the first family member there, the doctor came in and told me that a little bit about Michael and how he was doing, and that he was going to need to do surgery and implant something in his head to monitor the brain as soon as possible.
Yeah, give me that self-retaining retractor.
The immediate concern is to reduce the amount of brain swelling because that is the cause of death in this situation.
The internal monitoring device was used along with medication to help control the amount of pressure building up within his brain.
Okay.
All his family could do was wait and hope.
First time I saw Michael after he fell, I don't know what I really expected to see, but what I saw was devastating.
Michael we saw there was not my brother. It was, you know, somebody who was laying there had no life.
He was in a deep coma. His girlfriend joined the family's bedside vigil.
I couldn't handle it. I mean, I just took one look at him. I said, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here.
You still couldn't believe it. You know, it's hard to accept that one minute they're there and the next minute they can be gone.
There was always the question in my mind, and probably still will be, had I done the right thing? Was this man going to lay there like that for the rest of his life because I tried to save him? Was he going to die because I didn't try hard enough? I just had no answers for that.
For a number of days and weeks after the patient's injury, the patient remained in a coma. Somewhere along the third week, I went in to see him in the morning, and I gave him a nudge or a pinch on the chest. I had been doing this every morning since the time of admission and gotten no response. And on this particular day, he opened his eyes, and I was just thrilled.
Dr. Jacobs walked out, and he had this big smile on his face. And he says, "By damn, Faye, I think the boy's gonna make it."
Through extensive therapy, Michael has relearned how to do many of the things he once took for granted.
At this point, I think the prognosis for Michael's recovery is excellent. It has now been 6 or 7 months since the injury, and I would say that Michael is over 90% recovered. And I fully expect him to make a 100% recovery.
Everybody let me know who wants a piece of watermelon. All right, Mike.
As of right now, Mike is still, personality-wise, still very childlike. According to what the doctors and the therapists have told us, is that this is a matter of retraining.
During that process, what we're actually having to do is watch him grow up again.
Gina Bowman had been Michael's girlfriend at the time of the accident.
I still don't know what's going to happen between her and Michael. Just a couple of weeks before the accident, Mike had finally asked her to marry him. And then just so short of a time later, to not even remember her.
Every now and then, I feel sad that it might have changed me for the rest of my life. But each day when I wake up and the regular me is back, I smile and I say, "Thank you, body, thank you, brain," because I'm getting better.
I've told him, you know, that I'm here for him. You know, I'll be his best friend, his pal, his confidant. I'm just thankful he's here and that I get this opportunity, because at one point I didn't think I was going to have that opportunity.
Please welcome Mike Rosso.
The magic that almost killed Michael has emerged as the strongest force in helping him to rebuild his life.
When I asked to go back and do the show at the hospital, I started the show by saying this was my thank you to all the nurses and doctor and people who helped me. It was my thank you.
This is a special rope because it's not one rope, it's one long piece of rope, one medium piece of rope, and one short piece of rope.
Michael will get back into magic. That's his first love. He loves magic. He loves performing. He's a great technician. He's a damn fine performer. And I'm waiting to see him get totally recovered.
When you pull them apart, they're all the same now. It was short, medium, and long.
For Michael to be where he is right now is nothing short of a miracle. In fact, I almost feel like I have no right to ask for any more of a recovery. For us to ask for more almost sounds like we're being greedy.
Pick any card you want.
He's always been a perfectionist. And now it's even more important to him to be able to come back and show everybody that he's as good as he ever was. And he strives for it. He practices, and he's going to do it.
I see it. It's there, behind your ear.
I knew if the fall didn't kill him, then he was going to make it. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to make it. And I just knew this was going to be his greatest escape he had ever had to attempt.
Next.
She was having problems with him constantly trying to come over and talk to her.